Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Empire Total War with the Russo-Turkish War Battle Series, using the Russo-Turkish War mod. Last time around we did the first battle of Shipka Pass, where a vanguard force comprised of Russian and Bulgarian troops attacked the Ottoman-held Shipka Pass, a very important choke point in the Balkan Mountains. Today we are doing the siege of Pleven. So after the Russian army crossed the Danube and fought the Battle of Switov, which is the first battle in this series, if you want to go and check that out, it began advancing towards the center of modern-day Bulgaria with the aim of crossing the Balkan Mountains to get to Constantinople. At the same time, the Ottoman army, led by Osman Pasha, returned from Serbia, amassing his force in the fortified city of Pleven, a city surrounded by numerous redoubts and located at an important road intersection at the Russian western flank, and in so doing threatening the western flank. And so we have the stage set for the siege of Pleven. Now the siege lasted for 145 days, which is almost half a year. It's about, I think, around 5 months to be, to give you an idea. 145 days, about 5 months, which is a bit much to cover in one video, to cover all the happenings of the siege. It's usually segmented into 4 different stages. But we're gonna have to try and comprise all of that into one video. The important thing to note, though, is that even though the siege ultimately ended in a Russian victory, it held the Russians at bay long enough for the other great powers of Europe to intervene on behalf of the Ottoman Empire before the Russians could reach Constantinople. At this point, it also might be good to note that this is not intended to be a recreation or a reenactment of the actual battle. We are simply taking the variables of the battle, the siege in this case, to the best of our ability and applying them to Total War. So that means trying to get the troop numbers right, the troop variation, the location and so on. But we're not trying to set it up so that it's a recreation, which means that sometimes we might have ahistorical outcomes, where the historical defender might, or the historical winner I should say, might lose, and vice versa. So just keep that in mind. And with all of that said, I think we'll jump in to the actual battle. And without further ado, let's go ahead and do just that. And so, here we are at the site of the siege. Before we go ahead and take a look at the actual battle, I thought we would go over the Russian troop numbers and position. It was quite hard to figure out exactly what it had. Usually what I do is I cross-reference the different wiki pages to kind of get an idea of sort of the numbers. And they were quite varied if you compared the Turkish wiki page to the Russian wiki page, to the English one, but I think we got a rough understanding of the troop numbers. The important thing is that the Turkish force is outnumbered. What we're using for map is the wooden fort map, which is a vanilla map in Empire. We thought that would work pretty nice as a Ottoman redoubt at Pleven, and I think you will find the same. We've got the Russian force strung out in front of here. What I've got is, if we start over on the right here, we've got Skoblev, the commander. Then we've got a battery of Parrot guns. So I've got 2 batteries, one on each side. Same for the Ottomans, they've got 2 batteries as well. Up here, we've got the Bulgarian Legion. They are supposed to represent the 40,000 Romanians that joined the siege. However, the Russian faction does not have any Romanians, so it's the Bulgarian Legion has to symbolize them. Then we got 6 units of infantry as the second line. We've got 4 units of rifles as the first line. They will lead the charge up the hill. And as reserve, I've got 3 guard units back here. In the forest, I've got 2 units of Cossacks. And over here we got a howitzer. Important to note here is that there's going to be a lot of stuff happening in the beginning, and there's going to be 2 major counterattacks by the Ottomans early on. There's going to be a cavalry charge going towards here, and there's going to be a cavalry charge and kind of a melee battle going on here. Both almost simultaneously. So I might be able to miss one of them, but just be able to show one of them. In that case, I will showcase the rest of it at the end screen. And I think with that said, let's just speed it up until we actually come into battle. And now the actual battle commences with quite the barrage coming off from the Ottoman. So the Ottomans got 2 batteries, just as I do. The thing though is they also got the fort, or the redoubt, backing them up with quite a few cannons. So the troops advancing up the hill is gonna have a really bad time advancing into rifle fire and loads of cannon fire. And we come just to see this rifle unit get obliterated almost, losing more than half of its manpower in just one go with the artillery. So I'm sending up the rifles first to attack the redoubt, but I want to show here that the cavalry movements that I missed. So there's a cavalry movement of Ottomans moving in. They're going to charge the battery and destroy them. They are going to make a comeback, but a very odd one at the end. So stay tuned for that. And over on this side we've got the same cavalry unit hiding over here. They are gonna run into my general unit though, and the Romanians, and we are gonna carry the day over there. We are eventually gonna carry the day over here. Thanks a lot to 1 Cossack unit that's gonna be able to not only defeat the cavalry unit, but defeat a Bazi-Bozouk unit that is going to melee charge it. As we can see, the fight is raging on. My rifle units are steadily picking off Ottoman defenders, plus the artillery also blasting them, but you can see the enemy's artillery blasting my units as well. So there's a high casualty rate. I'd imagine that about 90% of all the units that take part in the battle are gonna die here. It's important to note there though that this is not a recreation of the battle of, or the siege of Pleven. Because, I mean, as I've already explained it, but I just want to remind once again that the outcome is going to be different. Because the Ottoman, in the actual one, the Ottomans go ahead and surrender, and they surrender with 40,000 men still intact. Let's just say for this battle there's not going to be 40,000 Ottomans left. Even though what we're looking at should mostly be considered a part of the siege, like it's one of the redoubts getting attacked, given the numbers that we are fielding today. So if we go over here, the charge have taken place, and they've attacked the battery. They're actually gonna leave before they fully kill them off, so I'm gonna have this little unit still at the end of the battle, and yeah, they're gonna make a pretty odd comeback in the end. They're not actually gonna be able to use these guns anymore. At the same time, we've got the Bazi-Bozouks moving in on the Cossacks. I wasn't able to get them to fire at them in time. Instead, they're gonna move in and charge here. Thing is, in the replay, it seems like we actually do get some shots off. But in the actual battle, we didn't really get any shots off. Not that it mattered much, the result is the same, and that's a resounding victory for the Cossacks, killing the Bazi-Bozouks and the cavalry, which is going to join them. So even with all of that coming in against the Cossacks, they're going to hold. It's not going to go as well for the second Cossack unit, which is getting picked off by superior amount of fire coming in here from the line infantry over there, and the line infantry over there seems to be concentrating on this area. They're going to be joined by line infantry, and I'm going to bring up a line infantry as reserve to replace the Cossacks here once they get destroyed. At the same time, the rifles have been cut down severely. Some of the line infantry advancing behind them, as we can see, has also been cut down quite severely. And there's lots of casualties, but we're moving up more line infantry to now make a push on the right. Now, we missed what happened here, but essentially the Ottoman shot down one of the Romanian units, so they retreated. The second one still stood against a cavalry charge, and the Ottomans actually pushed the cavalry through to get to my general, but there they got destroyed by Sokolev and his cavalry force, and he's now going to move off to the flank to attack these guys from the side and aid the Romanian force. Probably what my opponent should have done over here. Instead he charges headlong into the Cossack unit, which probably killed a few of his own in the charge. What he should have done is circled around and attack. Also, cavalry does get a debuff bonus, if you want, for fighting in forest, I believe. So here, Sokolev is moving in. He's ready to charge. He's the guy in the white there, charging in the center, charging in and attacking the Bazibuzouks, which are tired at this point, and they're now facing cavalry and the renewed vigor of the Romanians, seeing that their Russian allies are charging in. And soon the Bazibuzouks are gonna retreat. With the fact that we lost the cannon on our left side, but we didn't lose it on the right, so we have continuously been firing at this area, plus the infantry advancing up, meaning that the Ottomans are very weak here, and we're looking at doing an actual charge on the position, trying to dislodge, destroy the howitzers, and from there actually flank and kill off all the enemy troops on this side. We're having a little bit more difficult time dealing with the guys on the left, but now as the Cossack unit has won its fight over on the left, it's gonna move out and it's gonna aid here, and it's gonna dislodge and push back these guys, and we're gonna start to mop up the front of the defensive line. We still have, though, an entire bloody redoubt full of enemy troops still ready to fight at us with all these cannons. Like, look at all the cannons that are on this fort. These cannons, though, have been severely bombarded and destroyed. We've got 2 cannons destroyed and only 31 men defending or manning the rest of them. Then we've got 39 men here, 17 over here. There's no units left here, they're all just dead. But the dead are piling high on the Russian side as well. We can see as the units have advanced, loads of bodies lie strewn out. Here's a unit of 320 men with only 2 guys surviving, and they're still aiming the cannons after them. I'm now sending up the reserves as well, so the 3 guard units is going to go ahead and join in, because we've lost so many men. We're doing a combined attack on the right side here, so we've got a line infantry charging in, forcing away these 12 men, and they're going to charge all the way up to the battery, trying to take that out. I think, though, I might have accidentally hit these guys, so I'm gonna hit them with my own artillery. That, together with fire from the walls, is actually gonna break the unit and send it away. Luckily, I was able to follow up the attack with the general. It's a bit risky here, sending my general all the way up to the wall here, especially when we've got cannons. There's so many times I kind of microed and followed him quite a bit in previous attempts at recording this battle, and the cannonballs just whiz past him constantly. So it's kind of surprising that he survived this. Anyways, he's been able to take out, like there, Like, that was pretty darn close, and it bounced off. It directly hit a wall. So, he's lost 60 men, but his unit is still intact, and he is still alive. We left 8 men, but there are not a lot of them left. We got the Romanians. They're gonna set up here. We've got a small unit of 32 men, and so on. As we bring up the reserves now, the guard infantry, we're gonna see about trying to push around, coming at that angle. At the same time, we've defeated the Ottoman unit over here, and so now we're starting to lay a massive amount of fire down upon these guys. So before, the 2 units over here were able to combine the fire, kill the Cossack unit here. Now I've got 2 units fighting these guys, and because there's so much going on, the micromanagement has been a little bit amiss here. So I think these guys are firing at one of the smaller units instead. So not everyone is firing out of this unit. You can also see a problem that I have in my World War I campaign as well. The unit is almost entirely just standing on top of the defenses, making them utterly useless. Also, they're not firing back. So they're just getting slaughtered. There's still 1 unit over here. We've got a Ottoman countercharge. They're sallying forth out of the fort. So in the historical battle, the Russians did 2 main attacks, frontal attacks, trying to defeat the Ottomans, but they realized pretty quickly after that it wasn't really gonna go that way. So what they needed to do was surround the place. Obviously the Ottomans wouldn't want to be surrounded, and they did make attempts to actually break the siege, but they weren't able to, or because of delays, they weren't able to do it in time. So the unit there got absolutely crushed trying to push out of the fort, or out of the Redoubt. So most of the Ottoman defenders that are outside the fort are now dead, except for this Egyptian line infantry, which I believe is basically the Ottoman guard units. The Egyptian infantry is the one that is... I think they are the slightly better units. They are getting destroyed though, because they're surrounded on all sides. He's sending another unit, but this time around not foolhardily trying to charge into our fire, but setting up behind the fence here to start putting down more fire from the fort. Are they still manning a gun? No. So we've got the Romanians over here firing at the fort. I've started to target the fort with the parrot gun, but it's going to take quite a while to actually make a hole in the wall. We got the guard unit now focusing down fire on the walls, and we got another guard unit coming in here, plus the line infantry, Cossack unit, Cossacks over here. We got rifles over here, and the Ottomans are about to set up to be able to fire down hill. Little bit of a micromanagement issue here as well. I think what he should have done is push them forward even further, because I think what happened, or at least what he'd reported, was that he noticed that they were firing straight into the walls here rather than firing over them, which meant that they weren't inflicting that much damage on us, while we were able to inflict quite a bit of damage on them. We're gonna see here going close like this. Yeah, it looks like quite a few shots are actually hitting the walls here. Could be a bug with the wall. Now they are just by it, so it should work better. But it's too late because the unit was broken before then. It's probably best though to be broken like this, because these units are actually going to survive, unlike the units that are stuck in the fort. They're not going to fare as well being shot at by rifle fire and then constant bombardment over on this protrusion of the fort. 27% now. It's gonna take a while to break this down. Brought down the cannon over here. We brought down the house inside just from stray fire. And stray fire has actually hit this unit so many times that there's only 66 men left in this unit just from shells that have passed over the wall and landed behind here. We've actually done a bit of damage on the wall back here as well. But the unit is wavering, but they're actually coming back. Ah, yes, I remember this. He pointed this out in the middle of the battle. They're actually going to climb in through the back. There's no point in trying to run in through the front, so they're actually going to put the hooks on the back of the wall and climb in. We got Russian units moving in. We're going to see about surrounding the fort as best as possible. My Cossacks have set up behind the wall here. Same problem here. You can see most of the shots going into the wall rather than passing on to the troops above. Few shots still going through, but at the same time it's really good defense behind it, even though quite a lot of shots going straight into the wall here. Got guard unit ready setting up. We've got another guard unit. The Romanians over there. And I've sent one guard unit to breach the walls here. It's not going to go too well though. It's going to result in quite the melee and slaughter up on the wall. But I realize that we're not going to be able to take the fort this way. I'm going to have to blow a hole in the wall and try to attack that way. Also just notice here that the troops here are setting up to fire straight into my troops as they get up here. Nasty as hell. This guy firing his revolver into these men. No wonder we did so poorly up here on the wall. The troops are eager though, even though losing 300 men out of a 320 man unit. That Ottoman just got strangled. Cannon fire coming in. I'm blowing up my own units. 31% on the wall. And the entire unit was dead. Cannon shots landing, blowing up tons of defenders as well. He's setting up more troops here as I'm moving troops to actually take up position along here. Not going too well for the unit over here. 77 men firing up against these. Thing is, the Ottomans don't seem to be firing back, except for the cannons. Lots of fire, lots of guns going off. There's a few here on the wall that are actually firing. Very deadly, very bloody. We just have to look around here to see all the bodies strewn around of all these dead soldiers. Romanians are now down to just 47 men, but they still stand strong. Got line infantry, 130 over here. Got the guard infantry, another guard infantry. These guys are down though to 100 men. Cossack unit is down to 189, 187 at this point. Quite a few of them got shot. 74. And it's going to continue quite a while like this, because I need to break down the bloody wall before I actually make any attempt of trying to charge in. And it's just going to be this constant sort of back and forth, firing at each other, trying to get the advantage. And as long as they hold the fort, they hold a pretty strong position. The thing though about the fort like this is usually you are able to put down a lot more fire from the outside than you are from the inside. Just because the entire unit that's standing below the wall is able to fire, while the guys on the wall, it's just the first rank. So you get almost a third more firepower going through than if you were standing on the wall. So this guard unit tried to get at the gate, but they were all destroyed. So we're at 43%. Out 50, the wall would crumble a bit, and it will open up a lot of the sides here, which will make it easier for my bullets to actually go through and hit the enemy. But at the same time as that is happening, we are of course losing tons of men from their fire, but they're losing tons of men from our fire. So if we take a look at it at this point... Oh, am I moving? Yes, I'm at this point moving up the howitzer crew. And spoiler alert, what I'm going to do, what I realize I can do, is I can move them up, and I actually can take control of the enemy's howitzers. So at the very end here in the battle, I'm actually going to take control of the enemy's howitzers, and I'm going to start to target the wall over here. It's at 49%. We should go in for a closer look as it breaks down. So any second now, there we go. Even threw some of the Ottoman defenders out of the redoubt. So you can imagine, if this is the battle over one single redoubt, you can imagine how difficult and how bloody it would have been to continue the frontal assaults, to try and take the Ottoman position by force like that. And as you can see now, just as I said, the covering part of the wall is gone, which makes it so much easier for my men to shoot down their troops. And I think that changed a lot in terms of the amount of fire I'm able to lay down upon the enemy. Still though, we've got quite a bit to go until we break down this part of the wall. We're even making 18% of them back just from all these stray shots. But at this point I kind of felt I had a pretty good position. I was moving over all my troops to focus in on this side. As we can see, the line infantry, the Cossacks are moving over, Bulgarian infantry, line infantry and so forth. So I'm focusing guys here because of course it's easier now when the upper part of the wall has been cleared. It's going to be a lot easier for me to fire at them, but also if I'm able to concentrate all my firepower at an area that's weak like this, where they cannot concentrate as much fire, it's going to make a lot or more kills for me, or it's going to make it a lot better for me to be able to kill them. They still got a lot of defenders, so we've got a unit of 200 men, then 160, so let's say 350 then. Then there's another one, so that's 400. And then there's another one here of about 100. So 500 defenders, roughly, we might say at this point. While I have, let's put this together to 100, 150. And that's, what, 300, 400. So I have about, 500 to 500. And then if you don't count, I've got another Bulgarian legion, a Romanian unit coming back there. So about 600 then, compared to 500 in the fort. Thing though is, as I said, we're able to lay down so much more fire upon the guys in the fort compared to what they are able to lay down. They do have cannons, but what I've seen, it's not actually explosive shots being fired out of these. And this cannon is destroyed. Lots of troops being killed here. It seems like we're concentrating fire. We're now at 64%. The Ottomans are losing troops fast. So we've got about 100 of the Egyptians over there. 37 reservists, 115 reservists. So they've quickly lost about 200 men. They're down to about, damn, those artillery shots landed perfectly. And we're looking now at barely 200 Ottomans left. I have lost quite a bit as well. I'm actually gonna send one of my units around, and we're gonna try to scale the wall with line infantry and one of the Romanian units. Got another line infantry over here. I have lost a lot of men too during this time, so I am down to about actually similar numbers, 300-400, compared to at this point they'd probably have about 200 men left in the fort. So we're climbing up to fight them melee. It's going to be difficult as they've got their home advantage, and my guys probably tired from running around. They're winded, most of my units, while the enemy is fresh. Also, I note that they haven't actually modded bayonets on anyone. But there's very, very bloody melee going on. At the same time, you can note now there's very few troops actually in this fort. 25 men, 18 men over here, moving down to defend the inner part of the castle now, or Redoubt. So 17 men over there, and then 67 over here, sending up another line infantry unit to help out the Bulgarians and the line, fighting here with the Egyptian line infantry. They're about 60 men, and then there's a reserve unit, I think. Oh, it's line infantry. There's only 6 of them though. Oh, these guys do have bayonets. The line infantry do have bayonets. The Ottomans don't have bayonets for some reason. Neither do the Bulgarians. Or in this case, the stand-ins for the Romanians. Are we breaking a hole here yet? 91%. Soon we'll be able to charge in. There's very few soldiers here. Oh, there's a unit with only 2 men. Not entirely sure if it's advisable to fire at this point, given that most of the troops kind of in the back here are their own. So there's a high risk. Might want to move them closer. I think those 2 guys just died. Yeah, stray artillery shot came in. Probably killed by shrapnel or a direct hit. Not sure. We got 12 men there. Oh, the line infantry. Oh, they're not retreating. They're just climbing out for some reason. There's very few of them left. I think the guys down there are actually shooting some of our men. Oh, fighting with the officer? See how that goes. Are they break? There we go, finally! Finally the wall is broken. You would think firing these explosive shots out of the parrot guns would make short work of these redoubt walls, but they were very strong. But now we finally have an opening into the inner sanctity of the fort. At this point though, we've got barely 50 men defending it. So it's 9 of these guys, the Egyptian line infantry. We've got 1 officer over there, and then 12 reservists. So there's basically no one left. We got 4 line infantry still left here up on the wall. Should have a little bit of an advantage over the Egyptians. Oh, I think we just blew up our own guy. There are 3 Egyptians left. Oh, my Bulgarian Legion is coming in. The Romanians are coming in by the flag. Let's see. Is he gonna be able to kill the officer, or is it gonna go the other way around? Oh, there we go. He stabbed him. Punched him in the face. Then he gets killed by artillery right afterwards. So it's down to the 12 last defenders. The Ottomans are not gonna give up. They're gonna fight to the very last man. We still have 2 of the Egyptians, actually 1 of the Egyptians, fighting with the Romanians here. And then we also have a unit of Cossacks marching in. The time is ticking down until the Ottomans are forced to surrender. They're charging in, and they're now fighting the Cossacks. Cossacks which have a different modded drive. No, they have the same as the others. I thought they had a different one compared to the rest of the infantry here. Actually, don't seem to be going that well for the Cossacks. Seem like they're losing a lot compared to just how many of these reservists there are. 7 Ottoman guys left, fighting 55 Cossacks. Oh, now they're down to 6. We're moving aside. What is going on? Oh, they're charging through, going for the elite infantry. They're not having any of it. And they shot them down. And with that, we've got the end of the battle. We're looking at the statistics right here. So we both deployed similar amount of troops. I only deployed about 100 more men. It's kind of hard to figure out the forces though. Given the outcome of the battle, I think it played out pretty well. It was an absolute slaughter on both sides. I lost 4,999 men, which means that only about 500 survived the battle. And on the Ottoman side, only 39 men managed to survive. If we look at the kills on my side, we can see that General gained quite a lot, but if I press it over here, we can see the Cossack unit leading, followed by rifles, followed by line infantry, followed by guard infantry. Surprised to not see the artillery up here, but I think the way the gun works shows that they definitely kill a lot more than what's shown here. We got one line infantry that did really poorly. I will also go ahead and show below here somewhere, or maybe right on top of this, show the Ottoman statistics as well. But there we go, we've had the battle, or the siege of Pleven. And with that said, I'll say as I always say, hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye!